Welcome to the Core Connection. I'm Mira Rubin, and today's topic is wanting and having, and how the intensity of our wanting actually can be affirming our lack, and how we can move from that lack into creating a space for, or an opening for, more of our desires to manifest it. So it should be a fun conversation. Before we get started, let's take a minute or two to get present. Let's take a deep breath in through your nose and hold it. And imagine clean, crisp oxygen flooding your lungs, flowing into your bloodstream, nourishing all your cells, all your organs, bringing vital life energy to your body and being. And as you exhale, exhale any tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's take another deep breath in through your nose and hold it. This time, imagine brilliant bright light lighting you up from the inside out, illuminating, electrifying, and energizing all your cells, your molecules, your electrons, creating a brilliant beam of light and energy from your heart out into the world. And as you exhale, exhale any remaining tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's press our palms together. Vigorously rub your hands together to feel the friction, the temperature, the pressure, the motion, the tickling and tingling when you stop. And allow all those sensations to bring you present right here, right now, into this remarkable physical form that enables us to experience life. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, um, today we're talking about manifesting. We're talking about, oh my, it looks like we may not be live on Facebook. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, I'm not sure if we're live or we're not live. But I guess we get to do this thing. Let me just see. Yeah, it looks like we're not live. Um, okay, I'm gonna try and troubleshoot this. Let's see. Well, actually, as I'm seeing it, it looks like maybe we are live. I apologize if we these technical details are challenging for me periodically. There's Rosalind. Awesome. Okay, thank you, Rosalind. So now I know we're live. I just wasn't seeing confirmation, so I appreciate your patience with me and wrestling with our technical um, details here. All right, so back to business. We're talking about wanting and having. And I think so many of us are into manifesting, and there are nuances around this manifesting thing where we can feel ourselves wanting something so much that our teeth hurt. Um, oh, okay. So Rosalind says seeing on YouTube, but not EWN Facebook. Okay. Well, at least you're on YouTube. Thank you for that. And I'm just going to continue with this until and then we'll troubleshoot for tomorrow. Anyway, when we want something really badly, what we're doing in a certain way is affirming not having it. This is a little bit paradoxical, right? Because we want what we want, we're going for what we want, and we're intentioned about wanting what we want. And then we might get impatient about what we want. And that impatience is creating resistance. And so it's ironic, I get it, that the depth of our desire can be actually frustrating the actual fulfillment of that desire. Good morning, Sue. It looks like we're good to go at this moment. Thank you. And we'll work through whatever technical elements there are after this. So I really appreciate your support. Sue and Dido are the folks that kind of take care of all the technical details behind the scenes for Enlightened World Network. So we have them to be thanking for this wonderful platform. Anyway, so when we think of the word want, what is it? It's something missing, right? And when we talk about having, we're in the experience of having. A great example was you have your cell phone. Whoops, you have your cell phone, and do you want your cell phone? You have it. You have it. And are you? It's a very natural part of your being. I guess maybe there's an irony to that too, but we'll skip over that piece. But it's a very part it's a fundamental part, or it's something that is almost assumed. It's something that you're comfortable with. It's something that you're integrated with in your life. And so many of us are very focused on abundance and our desires, while we don't allow ourselves the experience of the fulfillment of that desire. And here's the thing, we can create any emotional state without any external impetus, without any external trigger. We can create internal states. And so this notion of creating abundance is about experiencing the abundance that we already have. And it may be even that we get to pay part of a bill instead of a whole bill. Like I have the abundance to be able to pay that bill or part of it. I have the abundance to be able to be having a meal, and I can sit down and enjoy this meal. There are multitudes of areas in our lives that we can experience our abundance and the joy around that. And as we put our energy there in that enjoyment amplifies and multiplies. And with that multiplication of that feeling of appreciation and wealth, abundance, prosperity, regardless of the bank account, that it's all relative. And as we experience that, it invites more. Where we put our energy multiplies is really what we're talking about. So if we put our energy, so this conversation is coming about from a book that I had spoken to you about a while ago called The Having. and I recommend it. It's a very useful perspective around creating abundance and allowing ourselves to really experience the energy of having, which amplifies the having, right? We do, no matter our circumstances, we do have a multitude of riches, no matter our circumstances, that eh, we can we can find the blessings. Um, and it might be a discipline to do that. It might be something where we literally need to turn our head because we're trained in so many ways to focus on what we don't have or what is missing, but to be focusing instead on the abundance that we already exist in is a pretty remarkable gift to give to ourselves just in the experience of it, just to be able to enjoy the sense of that deliciousness, whether it increases our material wealth or abundance or not. The experience is certainly more pleasant than an experience of anxiety and fear, right? So, Sue, thank you so much. Sue put the link to the book The Having in the chat for you to check out. I'm enjoying the book. This is I've gone through it like once, and I'm going back through. And one of the things that they talk about is having notes. So, kind of notes about where we feel our abundance and celebrate it. And it's talking about what the experience was and then what the feelings were that went with it. Because I believe most of us are aware that what powers our thoughts, what powers our intentions is emotion. And that's another reason why the wanting is a an impediment to the having, because we often want with such passion, right? That it's kind of affirming the lack. So this practice of really recognizing our existing abundance gives us the ability to amplify it. And when there was this chapter that I was just listening to where the student, it's sort of a guru and a student relationship that's portrayed in the book. The student was focused every minute of every day on becoming what they call a real rich person. A real rich person is somebody who not only has means but who really appreciates those means, and it is living in that sense of abundance. And the guru told her, you're wanting it too much. She was focused all the time on getting rich, but what happened was that there was a lot of anxiety around, is it ever going to happen? Am I ever going to get there? And that anxiety was creating resistance to the very experience that the student was looking to achieve. And I think that happens for all of us. And we get focused on an outcome, and then there's an impatience around that outcome. Like, when is it ever going to happen? Is it ever going to happen? What's it going to take? and we take all this energy uh into kind of pushing the river. One of the things that they talk about in the book that I think is really, really powerful is that when we're making a purchase or when we're spending money, to be feeling the alignment and the abundance of being able to spend that money, even if it's paying bills. It's like, wow, I have the resources to pay these bills. And that's awesome. And a part of this abundance experience is also paying attention to what they are calling the signals of having. So we've all made purchases that we were really excited about and delighted with the outcome of that purchase. That if it was a thing that we purchased, that we've just had continuing delight in that thing. And I think equally we've all had experiences where we purchased something, we didn't feel good about it, and we never experienced the reward of that purchase. So the signals of having are paying attention when we're making a purchase to what's going on in our emotional state. Like red light, green light. Green light is, yes, this is a wholehearted, I'm in, and I love this, and I'm excited to be able to purchase it, versus a red light where there's just this little bit of a knot that we experience, a little bit of a resistance, a little bit of a hesitation that we experience before that purchase. And it's a fun thing to experiment with, I can say. I confess to an addiction to Amazon. I buy things on Amazon. I've been called on the carpet for that, but I freely admit I buy things from Amazon. And I will often see something that I'm interested in and I'll put it in my cart and feel into it before I purchase. And so I'll have these things collecting in my cart. I have a huge save for later list because I'll put things in my cart and then I'll take them out and wait for later. But I have to say that I really truly have gotten tuned in to this experience of, is it a red light or is it a green light? And I invite you to try that with your purchases, even in the grocery store, even in, online, in stores, whatever, red light, green light, and to honor those signals as a way to carry our abundance forward and into life. It really, what we're talking about is a sense of alignment and aligning our expenditures with ourselves, with our center, with our core. Now, with bills, a lot of us feel resentful about having to pay bills. And this is a great practice to be able to move into a space before you pay that bill, to move into a space of abundance. Like, I have the money to pay this bill, or I have the money to pay part of this bill, even, you know, to be affirming the fullness rather than the emptiness of the glass, so to speak. And it opens up log jams to do this. So many of us are in fear around finance. And when we when we allow ourselves to fall into fear, we're creating that environment for ourselves. And it can take a very deliberate, concentrated attention to shift our perspective. However, that's one thing that we have the ability to do, that our emotions and our experience does not have to be dictated by circumstance, that we can transcend those circumstances and create a different framework, a different vantage point, a different viewpoint to alter our experience, to alter our energy around something. And at the very least, it feels better to be in an experience of abundance than it does in an experience of fear or anxiety. And our body shifts, our energy field shifts, our physiology shifts. So why not? What is there to lose? I'm not saying Dido, hi Dido. Oh, so wonderful to have you with us. Dido says this is such a powerful approach. Thanks so much. Um, well, I think this is the most important thing that we as humans can do in our lives, and particularly in times where we're fraught, is to take responsibility for the quality of our thoughts and our beingness. And it's very easy to fall into the flow of consensus consciousness, where there's lots of fear, there's lots of anxiety, there's lots of people telling us all kinds of reasons to be anxious and afraid. And it's up to us to become to take back our own agency. This is the one thing that we can do. And we are conditioned, socially conditioned, to be looking at scarcity and lack and competition and not enough and comparison and all of that. And it takes a deliberate act of will, but it's our lives that are at stake. It's the quality of our lives that are at stake. Or that is at stake. And that is something that we can steward. We can steward our lives. And again, as I said, it can take a deliberate effort to turn your head in a different direction. It takes practice to do that. But particularly with money, because it's such a foundational factor in our culture. If we can modify, transform our relationship with money and our own abundance, then it's going to amplify out into our experience and literally improve our health. So that's something that we can take in hand. That's something that we do have the ability to influence in a very, very profound way. So it's the end of the month. It's bill paying time for so many of us. I don't know about you, but when I used to pay bills, it was a traumatic experience. I would have such anxiety in my chest, and my body would just tense up. And so Sue says, rethinking how I view money. As we appreciate the abundance in our lives, it changes our point of view and reflects out into the world. Yeah, it really truly does. If I'm anxious and fearful about money, then that anxiety is present in all my interactions with everything. And it colors the way that I see the world. It becomes a place that's a scary place. Instead of like we all we all have stuff. We can be grateful. The fact is that stuff was transmitted or was traded at some point for money, even if it's stuff we were gifted, even if it's stuff we found on the street. You know, the things that we have are representations of abundance, but it's not that the more things we have, the more abundant we are. It's the abundance that we bring to that, to say, wow, I am surrounded by abundance. So Sue is saying, please like, comment, and share. Yes, please like, comment, and share. You're invited into this experience, and let's make it a collective experience of abundance, of having, of not just taking things for granted, but really being present to the richness that's all around us. And I remember when I had like $9 to my name, I would go walking along streets and window shopping and saying, all of this is my world. All of this is mine. And these other people, these stores, these places are curating all these things for me. It's all mine. It's all part of my world and part of the abundance of my world. And I don't have to dust those things or care for those things. They're somebody else is taking care of them and I get to enjoy them. So that's another way to magnify our abundance. And that's it for this morning. So I'm Mira Rubin. This is the Core Connection, and I go live here each weekday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern on the Enlightened World Network Facebook page and YouTube channel. And I invite you to please like, follow, and share Enlightened World Network and me. The links are in the description. And Dido says, I love that idea. I get to enjoy things without having to dust them. I know, right? Anyway, it's always a privilege and a pleasure to have the opportunity to share these morning musings on what it is to be human. And I'm so grateful to you and for this opportunity.